I'm sure that most of you guys remember this individual right here.
I don't want to say my real name on the internet.
And to be honest, this is one of my favorite videos that I've ever released. It was a short form video that since released has garnered over 6 million views, and I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for the amazing response to this content. Now, analytically, what I love even more than the amount of views is the like to dislike ratio, and I'm going to tell you guys why. We live in a world where leftists want to tell Christians and conservative of all kinds that we are dinosaurs, a dying breed, as Chris Evans so erroneously stated.
I mean, the real truth is those people are idiots. I mean, I think throughout history you can see every time there's been social advancement as we wake up. I mean, the American story, the human stories, is one of constant social awakening and growth, and that's what makes us good. And you know, when that happens, there's always going to be people who are afraid and unaware and trying to hold on to what was before. But those people die off like dinosaurs, and so you know, I think that the goal is to pay them no mind, march forward, and embrace the growth.
But this video has over a 93% like over dislike ratio, which should be confusing to anyone who supports gender transitioning, because according to them, their support is overwhelming and authoritative. But in all my experience on social media, and in real life for that matter, reality is quite different than what they want you to believe it is, as far as people's values are concerned anyway. Moving on.
I got this letter from my grandma, and it is addressed to Miss Old Name. Not actually, but you know, I don't want to say my real name on the internet. Dearest Dead Name, on this, our Blessed Mother's feast day, I am writing to tell you that I will not address you as Mike. My decision is probably not a surprise to you. Others may comply with your request. My anguish in your chosen name and what that means has to do with your eternal soul. Know that I love you more than words could ever possibly convey to you. No matter how you decide to identify yourself does not change my deep love for you, honey. Because of my concerns for your soul and your mental health, I am spending more time with Jesus in adoration. Do you know how much you are cherished and loved? It would be a joy to see you and be with you during the coming Christmas. A celebration of our Lord's birth.
So right off the bat, we noticed one glaring statement that the young girl made. She stated that she didn't want to state her real name on the internet. Now, I can't even begin to tell you how many thousands of people noticed this and did not hesitate to say so in the comment section. More than that, however, I wanted to dig a little bit deeper. You see, being emotionally distraught is similar to being drunk. You'll say what you actually think as opposed to hiding it like you normally do. Have you ever heard the phrase, drunk words equal sober thoughts? Yeah, that's pretty much the same thing here. She admits without even realizing it that in her mind she knows that her actual name isn't the one she's trying to get the world to use. She knows that no matter how much of a show she puts on, her name will always be the one that her parents gave her. That letter really does put a damper on that whole there's no love like Christian hate phrase, doesn't it? Now, my main takeaway here is not only what the grandmother said, but what she didn't say was even more important. Well, what are you talking about, Mav? Well, I'm glad you asked. You see, at no point did her grandmother ever state, hey, stop it or you're going to hell. There was no finger wagging, no condemnation of any sort. And that's extremely important, guys, because I know that most of us are not doing that. But atheists and non-believers of all kinds live for that kind of stuff. They cannot wait for that one so-called Christian to slide into their comment section and say something crazy. And yes, I do understand that nothing they say matters anyway, because their utter disingenuousness will always push them to ignore every positive statement and only highlight the negative to perpetuate their agenda. However, we have to be better than that, guys. And it is obvious that this grandmother is right on par with what Jesus would have wanted her to say. At the end of it, I know exactly how this grandmother feels. I applaud her, and I am proud of how good a Christian woman she is. Unfortunately, in my real life, I know exactly what she's going through. There is a person in my family that insists she is a male as well. And I promise you, I will not go along with it. I engage with her, I speak to her, and I treat her with kindness. But in no way will I ever call her by the name that she desires, nor will I refer to her as he or him. To be completely honest, it is an insult to real men everywhere. Those who toil and provide for their families and know what it is to be a real man. Taking a few injections and popping a few pills to deepen your voice and cutting your hair a certain way doesn't make you a man. It just makes you a female pretending to be one. You're playing dress up. Essentially, you're participating in Halloween 365 days out of the year. And if that works for you, well then have at it. Christ was clear thousands of years ago when he said in Matthew chapter 7 verse 13, "Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it." But what makes it even worse is seeing how the issue causes passive-aggressive tension throughout the rest of my family. And they don't dare to ask me my opinion because they know what I'm gonna say. I refuse to ever offend God and his perfect design by calling someone a guy's name, making the insinuation that God makes mistakes when he gives you the gender that he assigns you at birth. So believe me when I tell you that the way this grandmother feels is exactly how I feel. The only difference is her articulation of it was better than any response I had ever seen, including my own. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Unfortunately, I remain in YouTube jail, but I know God's plan is perfect, so I'll just make adjustments and continue to drive on. If you like what you see and you want to support the channel, the links to my Patreon, Buy Me a Coffee, and merch store are right there in the description below. As always, guys, be safe, be good, be blessed. I'll see you when I see you, and remember, tomorrow isn't promised to anyone, so don't put off a relationship with the Messiah. It's better to meet the King before the end than it is to meet him after it's all over. Later, guys.